I say Stolas is a terrible character, I'm talking about how he is written, not the obvious, oh well they're in hell so of course he's bad. No! I'm talking about how the show bends over backwards and wants us to believe that he's a decent dad that just loves his daughter. Meanwhile, his actions have consistently proven otherwise. So not only am I gonna talk about how he's a bad father, but a bad potential partner for Blitz, and an all-around bad character. His conception from the pilot was a powerful upper-class owl demon who trades his grimoire for passionate nights with Blitz in order to run IMP. Because we didn't see Octavia, nor much of Stella, Stolas' relationship with them were basically non-existent. All we knew at the time was that he was a kinky owl demon, and he was cheating on his wife with an imp. He leverages his power over Blitz, using him for nights of thrills, which greatly disturbs Blitz. From that concept alone, there was some interesting avenues that could be explored. Why is he cheating on his wife? Why an imp specifically? Is he so desperate for satisfaction that he'll get it from anyone, even outside of his social circle? How well is he hiding this transactional relationship from the public and his family? How would it affect everyone involved if it got out? There is a ton of juicy ideas to explore with this character, and for some time, the show did. But Helluva Boss is supposed to be about imps running their own murder business, not this melodramatic epic of love and betrayal. Sadly, the show has become more focused on Stolas with his family drama, and I don't think it's handled as well as it could be. Stolas' presence was inevitable since Blitz needs his book, but Stolas also needs it to do his own vague duties. In Murder Family, they settle on this arrangement to Stolas' delight. Why he chose now of all times to make this deal, since the dialogue seems to imply that Blitz has had the book for some time now, is beyond me. Like seriously, what is this show's timeline? I need to know. Lululand was the episode that dove further into Stolas as a character and his relationship with his family. In the opening flashback of Octavia calling for her parents, we see Stolas lying in bed with Stella, who's hogging the blankets. She'd rather have him go check on Via instead. Maybe she's tired, maybe she hates Stolas, maybe they just lost all the love in their marriage, or maybe they were arranged to wed. My point being, this scene does not confirm nor deny that Stella is being cruel to Stolas. If it was meant to read as such that she's a heartless woman, then it failed greatly. In my opinion, Stolas singing and comforting his daughter was his only moment of being a good father to her. Cause oh boy, it's all downhill from here. Stella rightfully yells at Stolas for cheating. Whether because it was with a low-class imp or her feelings were hurt was made unclear at the time, but by season 2 we learned that she had no hurt feelings from it. So we have to assume it's just classism, which I'll touch on more later on. Meanwhile, Stolas tries to win back those good daddy points by taking Octavia to her childhood theme park, Lululand. Okay, good start, using nostalgia to butter up your daughter into remembering you love her. Yeah, that might have worked if Stolas didn't have his booty calls stand in as their security. There really was no reason to drag IMP into this. Stolas comes from money. He could have had actual security for him and his daughter if he gave a damn. But no, his constant flirting and belittling of Blitz not only makes him uneasy, but Octavia is so fed up with it that it took her storming out for Stolas to realize that she's upset. Father of the Year! I'm starting to have my own doubts of Stolas reassuring Octavia that he wouldn't leave her to be with Blitz because he sure as shit has done nothing but that the entire time at Lululand. He's paid more attention to Blitz than Via, so she has every right to worry about losing her dad. And we later on see Stolas easily defending himself and Via against one of those imps that were trying to attack him all day. So Stolas didn't even need security in the first place. But whatever. He is so inept at parenting that he mistook Via's horrified cries as tears of joy when they went to Lululand when she was younger. Holy moly, you are a bad father! And even when he runs after his daughter and nearly gets captured by another imp, he still has Blitz on the brain. Like, dude, your daughter is very upset right now because you've been neglecting her for the man you've been cheating on your wife with. Get your priorities straight! But I will say, the scene of them trying to talk it out and Stolas not being able to explain himself was really good. Because he actually can't explain himself because he's been trying to keep it together for Octavia's sake at home and fell into his own desires that led to their family becoming even more of a mess. Octavia's line about how everything used to be fine before her parents were fighting, so maybe there is some truth of Stolas trying his best to keep the peace for her sake. Still a failure as a father. In Harvest Moon Festival, the non-Millie episode, we actually see Stolas fulfilling his vague duties in the Wrath Ring, where he not only belittles and embarrasses Blitz, but all imps by referring to them as little. And even though he's an upper-class, powerful demon, he doesn't even try to hide that he's flirting with Blitz. And by the end of the episode, we learn that Stella wants this cheating prick dead, which again doesn't imply how the cheating affected her either emotionally or class-wise or whatever. Stolas cheated on her with an imp and she wants him dead for it. Her motivation is as deep as a kiddie pool, but cheating is an unforgivable act in my eyes, so go off, queen! She's so mad that somehow neither Stolas or Octavia notices it. Not much of a lively family dinner, considering Octavia is ignoring both of her parents by playing her music. I'm starting to think this family had issues even before the cheating. In Truth Seekers, Stolas had the power to track Blitz, possess several humans into making a summoning circle, appear in his demon owl beast form, and open another portal to get everyone home. He was fully capable of doing all of that without his grimoire. Keep that in mind for later. Once again, Stolas belittles Blitz by calling him his impish plaything. But he does care if Blitz actually got hurt and is pissed that they all got caught by humans in the first place because vague consequences. If IMP gets in trouble, then Stolas gets in trouble. I know the fandom loves to reel over that kiss at the end, but that's just Stolas wanting to act like Blitz's knight in shining armor. He truly does care for Blitz, but he just has a very hard time of showing it in a respectable manner. Ozzy showed a depressed Stolas eating cereal in his robe and watching soap operas in his giant empty home, making it abundantly clear that neither his wife nor child are present, and he's at an all-time low. The only thing that brings back that spark of joy in his eyes was a call from Blitz and thinking that they're going on a date. The stark contrast of Stolas' mood flipping does show that Blitz truly is the only person that makes him feel happy. Man, it is not looking any better for Octavia. So their date shows Stolas being a nervous wreck. The guy has had nothing but intimate interactions with Blitz at this point, so doing something romantic in hopes of whatever the hell this is to become real is really straining on Stolas. He wants Blitz beyond their arrangement but struggles to court him, probably because he's been belittling him and his kind all season. Kinda racist. It also doesn't help that Blitz is really uninterested and is just using Stolas to spy on the M&Ms. To make matters worse, Osmodeus, the sin of lust, outs Stolas for giving up his wife and kid for Blitz. He's so ashamed that he just hides his face in the menu, not even trying to stand up for himself or Blitz. Stolas knows that this affair has hurt his daughter, and he has to know that it'll also damage his reputation as well as the Goetia family. No wonder Blitz drew his hand away from Stolas when he was trying to reach out to him. And at the end of the night, after all that has happened, Stolas still tries to make some sort of a connection with Blitz, but to no avail, because Blitz is very aware of what they have is nothing more than shallow intimacy for their business, leaving Stolas in shambles. Season 1 established Stolas as a failing but well-meaning father with a loveless marriage with a woman that doesn't care for him, and due to his unhappiness found possible love with a random imp but slowly realizes that their feelings aren't mutual. At this point, Stolas was dealt an unfortunate hand when it came to romance as a royal, and was so desperate for passion and love that he didn't even care that it came from an imp. Creatures at the far bottom of the food chain. He craves something official, but because of his upper class stature, has a tendency of looking down on and disrespecting imps and those below him. Especially when he referred to Blitz as his plaything and not taking him seriously unless it was a great inconvenience to himself. They come from two very different worlds and understandings of their relationship, making it all the more complicated and risky in public. This is great! Awesome! Stolas and his relationship with Blitz is complex, with a lot of layers that could be explored in how it further affects their lives, and if Blitz even actually likes him. So why is Season 2 fucking it all up? Just like with Luna, Season 2 has been doing Stolas a displeasure of mischaracterizing him and giving explanations where we didn't need them. I feel like we had a firm grasp of his character in Season 1, but Season 2 just feels like it's doing a lot of rewriting or retreading to fix stuff. The circus recontextualized everything we knew about this bird. While this episode did confirm a lot of fandom speculation, Stolas having a crappy father and his marriage with Stella being completely arranged, but no one would have guessed that he also met Blitz during childhood. Call it love at first sight or Stolas liking Blitz for his bad jokes or whatever. Either way you slice it, this imp caught the owl's attention. Quick side tangent here, but Stolas' dad, Paimon, takes him to the circus to hush up his bitch crying on his birthday. And where did Stolas take his daughter to cheer her up? A theme park that specifically has a circus where she cried those tears of joy. I just find it funny and messed up that Stolas uses the same method of cheering up Octavia that his father used on him. Albeit in a avoidable way on Paimon's end, and Stolas had good intentions, but ended up neglecting Via's needs. Guess shitty daddery runs in the family. Anyway, Paimon buys Blitzo for Stolas' birthday, of which the young imp is very uncomfortable with. Hey, fun fact, did you know that enslaved black children had to play with their masters' white children, which also conditioned them to learn their racialized differences and place in the world? I'm just saying. Stolas has never had a friend before, so he has a hard time playing with Blitzo at first, but the imp takes the lead into their treasure hunt game. Stolas tells Blitzo about his grimoire and his soon-to-be duties on Earth. Hey, if Stolas can look for prophecies in the stars, how come he doesn't use it more regularly or often for his own life? He could have really avoided a lot of hardships that way, I'm just saying. They laugh, they play, they chuck, they jive, and we smash cut to 25 years later. I feel like we just skipped over some major life events, but whatever. Stolas is miserable because Stella hates him, his only joy seems to come from Octavia, and even then he neglects her. Whoops, did I just say that out loud? At the lovely couple's not divorce party, Stella is again mocking Stolas, and he gets hammered out of frustration. Blitz is caught sneaking in, and Stolas takes him to his bedroom to handle him accordingly. Stolas thinks that Blitz is here to ravage him. Your last conversation with this guy was when you were both children and your daddy bought him for you. What sort of leaps and bounds does one's mind needs to go through in order to reach that conclusion? Oh, so that's how this fandom functions. Blitz is there to steal the grimoire and try seducing Stolas to throw him off to get to it. But then Stolas exclaims how excited he is to be wanted, and by his first ever friend, no less. Ugh. This entire scene just felt so gross to me. It gets worse when you remember that Stolas is probably a little buzzed, so he's not completely in the right headspace right now. I get that they were probably trying to convey that Stolas is a repressed gay man who's been stuck in his own hetero hell for over 2 decades, but this is giving some very messy, smutty Wattpad fic. Which is frankly an insult to fanfic. I've read my fair share that deserve to be novels of their own. If not for season 1 and the pilot establishing that Stolas is a freak, his reaction to Blitz's biting him would feel straight out of nowhere. And you know, it still kinda does. That 25-year later crap cut out any in-between that could have helped explain how he got like this. Stella saying he's terrible in bed is just too vague of an explanation. Because he could either be terrible because he's not attracted to her, or that it's just part of the job to produce an heir. Man, whatever. Blitz gives him a pity night anyway, and that awakens his true demons. After his unexpected night where there was no time to get a motel, my ass, Stolas declares that he's going to start now divorcing Stella. And again, I wish we had a clear timeline for this show because it's been, what, weeks, months even, and he has yet to actually commence the divorcing up until now. Stella leaves with a final threat that we all know has something to do with Striker, and we'll get disappointed about later. The next episode starts with a flashback of Stolas showing Octavia space. She gets upset with him neglecting her and storms off, but in the end, they talk it out and forgives him. Oh, sorry, that was Lululand synopsis. I meant to summarize Seeing Stars. Okay, starts with Stolas and Octavia in a flashback in space. She gets upset at her dad, storms off, but talks it out and forgives him. What the fuck? Yeah, this is literally just a retread that I don't care for and shows how worse of a father Stolas is to Via. She takes the book and accidentally ends up in LA, so IMP and Stolas have to find her. Oh, but unfortunately Stolas' powers are limited without his grimoire, and yet he still had enough magical power to conjure a portal to the living world and make a human disguise for himself. And yet, in Season 1, he was able to track down Blitz on 2 separate occasions. Oh, I see how it is. He has his ways when it comes to finding his imp boy toy, but not his own daughter. That's either bad writing consistency or
power levels are bullshit.
To make matters worse, the M&Ms are stuck with LA street artists. Blitz gets mistaken for a random celebrity, and he and Stolas are taken onto a filming set, which leaves Luna being the only one who's actually looking for Octavia. Oh, Blitz, we don't have time for this. We have to find my daughter. But also, let me cheer you on, my darling, as you perform for some humans for hours. Never mind what happened at Ozzy's, because we sorta talked it out through text, off screen.
Why does he hate her more than he loves me?
Sorry, sweetheart, I'm just gonna be blunt. You are not his top priority. You are losing your father, but I'd say good riddance. He couldn't even be bothered to teach you proper magic. Octavia is 17 and she doesn't know a single spell? And she is your heir? You're not just a terrible father, you're just a bad Goetia. Western energy. Stella's plot for revenge is underway. Blitz is actually being a good father and prioritizing his daughter's well-being, so that leaves the M&Ms to save Stolas from Stryker. Stolas is nerfed here again, but unlike in Seeing Stars, there's an actual in-universe logical reason behind it, because he's bound by blessed rope. It takes Stolas some time to realize that he's actually in danger, but even with Stryker's torture, he tries to play it off until he's rescued by Blitz, he's hoping. Sheesh, even on the verge of death, all he can think about is Blitz. This guy's worse than Moxie is about Millie. He doesn't get angry until Stryker starts threatening Octavia, which is concerning that all she's been at this point is an object to say that, see, Stolas is a good daddy. Or, he does love and care for his daughter. Oh yeah, he does care. When it's convenient. I'll tell you what, I'm hearing a lot of telling and so few showings of him being a good dad, so bite me. Did he even tell his daughter that he's in the hospital, by the way? Not that we saw. Again, prioritizing Blitz. Like, hey, Blitz, come over and visit at the hospital. Forget about what happened at Ozzy's. At this point of Season 2, Stolas has been recontextualized as a lonely owl prince with the expectations of marriage to produce an heir. It wasn't until he met this special little imp clown, who was using him since day one, did he feel any semblance of affection and decided sometime later to finalize his divorce from Stella. So instead of Blitz being some random imp that Stolas was getting his jollies and fell in love with, he's always been the one, and that loses all the nuance their messy relationship had. Instead of being in a loveless marriage, Stella has just always hated him. Stella's endured as much as he could for the child he never thought of having, but became the best thing out of a bad situation. And even then, he neglects her almost as bad as his own father did. He might not have forced her into an arranged marriage at the age of 10, but he certainly hasn't taught her a damn spell, or much about his MacGuffin that she needs to know as the heir of the Goetia family. Because you know what's worse than an absent parent? A parent that makes promises and constantly breaks them. At least with an absent parent, your disappointment with them can't get any lower because you don't expect much of them in the first place. But with a parent that's constantly trying and failing miserably, that will strain whatever trust you had with them, making your relationship unstable, uneasy, nerve-wracking. Season 2 feels as though it's just excusing all of Stolas' mistakes by making everyone else seem worse around him. Oh, he cheated on his wife? She's a heartless bitch that never liked him in the first place, so it doesn't matter. Oh, he neglects his daughter? His own father hardly paid him no mind. At least Stolas is trying, so it doesn't matter. Oh, but he doesn't respect Blitz and is using him for pleasure. They knew each other as kids and the outcome of their arrangement satisfied both of their needs. So it doesn't matter. Nothing fucking matters. Through all of this, I can honestly say that Stolas is my least favorite character in Helluva Boss. There was a time I wanted to root for him and Blitz being together, but after taking a step back and processing who he is as a person, how his actions have affected those around him, and how the writing bends over backwards to justify it, Stolas is just a sniveling brat with royal duties to uphold and cares about nothing or no one else but himself. He lost any semblance of nuance since Season 2 started in my sympathy. He's a man in an relationship with a woman he wants to divorce. Those are stories that are rarely told and are very heavy subject matter that needs to be handled with great care. Otherwise, it could be downplaying the whole situation or trivializing it at worst. Helluva Boss, however, has played it out in such a black and white manner that it reduced Stella to just being a hater for hater's sake. Now, I'm not saying people hurting others need a reason to justify them, but to explain it. How did Stolas and Stella get to this point? How bad has it gotten? If they really can't stand each other, then why bother sleeping in the same bed? Why keep up a whole charade in public when you don't have to do that behind closed doors? See, now I'm asking questions that this show can't answer because that's not its priority. Helluva Boss isn't about the moral ethics of divorce and bad marriages and hell. It's supposed to be about campy imps running a murder business for sinners, but it's constantly losing focus for more Stolas fanfare bullshit. It honestly feels like this show wants to have its cake and eat it too, but it's way overly ambitious and ill-equipped to handle such serious subject matter. I apologize for any yelling that may have occurred throughout this video, and I didn't do all this because I hate Helluva Boss or whatever. I just get very passionate when overanalyzing things. Subscribe to the comment section and share a like. Deuces.